Uh, We have on our agenda here, consider and adopting a resolution authorizing submission of a bridge loan from the Department of Environmental Quality. Rob, you want to speak to the board on that behalf?
Yes, sir. Um, we set this meeting Monday afternoon, and Ian and I went to a training program, a training day on Tuesday, and a lot of what we heard in the training program contradicted what we set the meeting for. But let me go through the kind of the history of this. We applied for a DEQ bridge loan. This is another department that's offering bridge loans. You already have two bridge loans from the state treasurer's office for about $835,000. This is a bridge loan that could be up to $3 million. It has a $200,000 grant for technical assistance. And the most important thing is if you are approved for the bridge loan, you get 50 bonus points on all your grant applications to DEQ. We actually sent the paperwork in last week for this bridge loan, and they said, well, you're going to have a resolution, which was confusing to us because they applied for it, and the Clyde did not have a resolution. So I called the meeting today at your request, Mr. Mayor, to have you adopt this resolution. However, when we went to the training program, they stated that they had set aside this loan program because the General Assembly had reduced the the budgeted amount from 100 million to 75, and they didn't have any more money. We objected because we told them we needed the 50 points on the grant, on our grant applications, more than we needed the money. And they said, well, I'm sorry, the whole program was rescinded. So what you see here is the resolution that we drafted so that we could get the 50 additional points for a $5 million grant we intend to apply for tomorrow. They now state that this program's been set aside. My recommendation is you go ahead and you approve the resolution, and we'll bank it so that if for some reason they come back up and say, oh, our bad, we'll accept your application afterward. After all, we'll already have the resolution in place. I changed the resolution a little bit on Wednesday to state that we recognize that they put this bridge loan program on hold, but that they retain our application for the bridge loan in the case where the General Assembly may add more money to this program, we would like to still be in line to get it. Secondly, we requested that regardless of whether we got money or not, we would ask that they go ahead and grant us the 50 bonus points towards all future grants that the program called for. So that resolution is before you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, I'll start with Chuck. Do you have any questions?
No.
Julie?
No.
John? Anthony? Okay, I'll need a motion in an order of a resolution to apply for the Department of Environmental Quality Bridge.
I move we adopt resolution R-20-25.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, got another business of considering rejecting the $8.5 million state revolving loan in order to apply for the $5 million Department of Environmental Quality grants. I'll need it. Do you want to address that?
Let me address it. This is again something that's caused us considerable confusion. When we when we went to a training class in April for the grant that we will apply for tomorrow. Excuse me, for a grant that for a loan that we applied for earlier. We were told that it is a state revolving loan grant and that it will have a 0% interest and a 20-year amortization. And that distressed communities that have less than 20,000 utility connections, we have 3,880, would be granted up to 100% principal forgiveness, which would essentially turn it into a grant. With that comment, we applied for the grant, the loan, and we were granted the loan last week for $8.7 million at 0% interest for 20 years, but we were not granted principal forgiveness, which was somewhat confusing. When we asked why we weren't provided principal forgiveness, we were told that there were, quote, other considerations. We pressed them and were told that Waynesville's water and sewer rates were too low to qualify for principal forgiveness, which was a big surprise to us, given what our water and sewer rates are. So we were also, when the McGill staff was working on the $5 million grant that we will apply for tomorrow, that we were told that they would not accept this grant application if we had any other offer of any funding, grant or loan pending with DEQ, which was also news to us. We weren't told that either. So in order for us to be eligible for the $5 million grant, we will have to reject the $8.7 million loan offer. And here's the conundrum that this places your staff and I suspect the board, is that you have $8.7 million at 0% interest on the table. The project called the Little Champion Junction Box Pump Station Project can be built with this. However, it will cost an annual $435,000 to pay for, which is a considerable rate increase for the sewer customers. If we were to receive the $5 million grant, we would only have to borrow $3 million for 20 years. And if we had to borrow it in the private sector, that it would be about 4% interest. So that would only be a $220,000 annual payment, not a $435,000 payment, which would save the town $214,000 over the state revolving loan offer that's on the table. What we would plan is that we would turn down this loan. We would request the $5 million grant. And if we were turned down for that, we would turn around in the winter cycle and reapply for the grant loan and further, comment on their issue of inserting other considerations when they've been promising us that almost everyone would get 100% principal forgiveness. I always take Ian as a witness because my memory is failing. And during Tuesday's all-day training class, they once again emphasized that almost everyone in the room would get 100% principal forgiveness for future SRF loans if we were designated as distressed and we had less than 20,000 connections. Not for me. Thank you. So once again, we're being promised one thing, but you can clearly see that I really don't think at a staff level I feel comfortable turning down an $8.7 million loan at 0% interest, without your concurrence. This is really shaking the dice. We've been promised, and then things haven't turned out several times. I can't guarantee you anything. I don't think you understand that. But so the items on the table, and Ian and I are happy to respond to any questions. We have a fair amount of information, given that we sat there and listened to them for 6 hours.
So if we turn down the 8.7 and we don't get the 5, we're gonna have to turn around and hopefully get a new loan at 0.
We would have essentially reapply for the same grant. Now, remember, the 8.7 that you got was under the assumption that we were going to get 100% principal forgiveness because we're a distressed community and we have under 20,000 connections. Whatever these other considerations are things that seem to be
Moving.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate your eloquence.
It's very, very confusing.
So, I think you all feel a sense of unease about.
I mean, yeah.
But I would have to, we would have to bear a $435,000 annual payment at the 8.7.
And that's worst case scenario.
That's the worst
either now or
Right.
later.
Now,
No, that's $112 a year per connection, or $9.34 a month that we would have to increase the fees.
right.
Yeah.
And so either way, we've kind of got that bird in hand, right?
They could say you're playing us, you've turned down a loan, now we've turned down a grant, now you're applying for that loan again, we're going to turn you down in the fall session so that we have no loan.
And then we go 4%.
Well, we'd have to go on the open market.
So what are the chances we're gonna get the 5?
We will score that. We have been pre-scored and we will be very competitive. However, had the state granted us the 50 bonus points, we would most likely be a shoo-in. And I mean, my feeling is you're giving everybody a $3 million bridge loan to help you with your Helene expenses, and you're getting 50 additional points, and you're getting $200,000 of technical assistance. But we've run out of money, so we're going to just cancel the program. So those people that have all those benefits also get the 50 points. And what I was arguing with them is at least grant us the 50 points, because the people that have gotten money continue to be eligible at a higher level for those of us that didn't get the money, which makes no
I
sense.
feel like we're in the donut hole, like with Medicare funding.
Well, it doesn't make any sense to me that if we qualify for the loan, except for the fact that there is no money, we should still be granted benefits that aren't monetary.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Okay.
What is the recommendation of the town manager and the finance director?
I think that you ought to try it out and see if we can get this grant, and reject the loan. If there wasn't a fall funding cycle where we could get the loan again, I would say it's too dangerous.
When will we know about the $5 million?
We should know in September.
Let me ask you this.
And remember, we've already written we've already paid for the grant, for the grant loan for the 8.7, so we'll just update it. But we'll just update it for the fall cycle. We want to rewrite it from scratch.
Where does the fact that the legislature knocked $25 million off the funding, and so they don't have any money anymore, where does that come into play in relation to if we have to go back?
Different pot of money.
Okay.
They haven't passed the
This
budget for
was-
next year either.
This 8.7 is part of that $209 million plot of money that was pulled out of ARP funding at the federal level. So the pot of money that they made the bridge loans from is different than the pot of money that they're making the SRF loans from.
Gotcha.
Any further
But
questions?
that, you understand the conundrum we're in.
Joe, you have any further questions? John? Okay, well, the motion will be to consider rejecting an offer of the $8.7 million zero interest loan from the Department of Quality, right? Environmental quality. Anyone?
I move that we reject the $8.5 million state revolving loan in order to apply for a $5 million DEQ grant.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay. Before we go into this considered discussion of the appointments of the board, I forgot to catch you guys up on, I got a phone call from the manager from Walmart, and he told me that he himself is going to keep an eye on the garbage that is being strewed all over the parking lots. He said he has now put garbage cans at each, where you put your buggies when you get done with them. So there's garbage cans there are getting emptied every day. He said that he is on that, and for us to please have any other questions to give him a call, but he plans on making, the parking lot much better, and being cleaned up.
I was having to be in the parking lot fairly recently, and I was struck by how clean it was over there where we cleaned up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they definitely, and it would have been messy
Yeah.
by the time
Yeah.
after we had cleaned it up. So
Yeah.
they're
He
doing
said
something.
he has a people that it's appointed to empty those garbage cans every day. And again, he apologizes for, he talked to me for quite a while about that, and he apologized for the condition that it was in. And I explained to him what we thought was more causing it was those wipes that the people were using. I explained that to him, so he did assure me that they would do a lot better job at that,
So far, so good.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing, and I've discussed that with Candace, is that I'm working on getting a picture from my friend back here, of Kevin Brown. He had a professional picture made, and the Mountaineer should have a copy of that. I'm going to get that and give it to Candace and get his picture finally put up on this wall out here. I found a person that said they could do that. That is Teresa Pennington. Teresa Pennington said she could do that picture herself and frame it. So we only have to do is just, get her a quality picture and email that to her. Is that good with the board?
Sure.
Okay. Do we need any kind of action on that, or?
Just, we probably need a quote from her to do it.
Okay. All right. Well, and if you would get a quote from her, Kansas, because Kansas is going to handle that for me once we get that. Okay. That Does anyone else have anything before we go into the discussion of appointments of the board, commission? Do you have anything, Kansas, there for that? You folks or anything?
Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to the
Okay,
discussion.
okay.
Yeah, we've had 2 applicants for the zoning board of adjustments,
Uh-huh.
and I'd like to schedule interviews with those. As you know, there were some errors in appointing the 2 individuals that we need to take care of. So we have 2 applicants that, and
Okay,
our standard is that we need to interview them.
okay, so you're going to be, or does someone else volunteer with Anthony?
I'll do it.
John is going to volunteer to help interview those folks, okay?
Can I get some days and times from y'all real quick, so what would work best for you guys in the next couple of weeks?
Whenever,
Maybe next week. Are you okay?
yes, we'll make it happen.
Mornings, afternoons?
I can make whatever work.
Yeah.
It's an important board, so we want to make sure that we actually,
Okay, so you've got that handled,
yes.
okay? Are there any other,
We still haven't received any applications for ETJ members of that board, correct?
We're still looking, so if anybody in the ETJ would like to apply for the zoning board of adjustments, we would greatly appreciate it.
And I read also there's a position up on the planning board.
That is,
Yep. Jennifer's been about
yes, we do.
okay, does anyone else have any other things to bring before the board? Chuck? Will? John? Anthony? Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Business.
I know.
Opposed, show like sign.
Thank you.